Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
In the delicate arena of compliance, every conversation matters. Traditional methods can leave callers feeling unheard, but Ethico changes the game. Our empathetic interview technique reshapes compliance calls into powerful, compassionate interactions, ensuring no crucial detail is missed. It's about creating a conversation that matters, that resonates, that makes a difference. Be the change in your compliance approach. See the transformation for yourself at ethico.com/CPN. Book a demo, try our free ROI calculator, and explore the white paper by Tom Fox, The ROI of Compliance.
The Daily Compliance News for May 20, 2024. The CFPB is Constitutional Edition. And we begin with that story as the U.S. Supreme Court has rejected a challenge to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and found that, indeed, the organization is constitutional. Had the Bureau lost, the court's ruling might have cast doubt on every rule and regulation and enforcement action it had taken in the past 13 years. The central question was whether the way Congress chose to fund the Bureau violated the Constitution, and the court said no. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Mingy Sun reporting that Binance has 2 separate independent compliance monitors to ensure the cryptocurrency exchange meets the requirements set forth in its settlements over money laundering and sanctions violations. The Justice Department chose Francis McLeod, a partner at Forensic Risk Alliance, for one of the 3-year monitorships. The Treasury Department's FinCEN chose a partner at Sullivan and Cromwell to serve as its monitor for 5 years. Binance agreed to retain the compliance monitors as a part of its settlement with U.S. prosecutors and FinCEN when it pled guilty last November and agreed to pay $4.3 billion to settle its claims. From the New York Times, California Governor Gavin Newsom accused presidential candidate Trump of engaging in extortion, basically, but also bribery and corruption in his pledge to energy executives that if they contributed $1 billion to his presidential campaign, that, well, he would give them, first of all, he'd roll back all of the regulations passed under the Biden administration, and he'd give the individuals a huge tax cut at the highest levels of earning income in the United States. So Trump begins his sale of all assets of the United States, even though he's not president yet. And our final story comes to us from Bloomberg, which reports that Vietnam has nominated the enforcer of its Communist Party's anti-corruption drive as next president and proposed head of parliament in appointments that could ease months of political turmoil and hopefully get the Vietnamese Communist Party back in the good graces of the people it oversees, of course, the Vietnamese people. This comes after several major bribery, graft, extortion, and other corruption investigations, trials, and prosecutions, which have really put a black eye on the Vietnamese Communist Party for allowing such graft to continue under its watch. As I mentioned at the start of this podcast, this month's sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Have you ever wondered how to show the ROI of your compliance program? Have you struggled with the budgeting process, getting the funds you want for your compliance program? Well, I've partnered with Ethico to put together a white paper on the ROI of compliance, which shows you not only how to demonstrate ROI, but also how to speak finance when you're sitting across from the CFO with your budget proposals. Check out the website and get the white paper. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.